What a perfect place for a kid to grow up. This is a little Tom Sawyer place.
David Goldman likes to think of his house in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, as the kind of magical place that Tom Sawyer, that mischievous boy in Mark Twain's novel, would have loved to explore. Once, his son Sean had made it all seem so perfect, enchanted. But 4 years after his wife abducted Sean, it just seemed sad, interrupted.
That's where I got when he was taken, and I just stopped.
That dock unfinished, this safety gate never taken down. In Sean's bedroom, little shoes still neatly lined up, little clothes still hanging, favorite toys still piled on the bed. The memories so vivid, friends like Gene Quigley and Tony Rizzuto found it unbearable to watch David open the door.
You see the pain right away. You see the horror.
The thing that he loved the most, that he put every ounce of himself into taking care of this kid, and somebody just took that away.
The little guy David had lovingly tucked into this bed was now an 8-year-old boy with a striking resemblance to his dad. Bruna emailed these photos to David's mom after she persistently pressed for news, any news, about her growing grandson. The photos haunted David. Did that boy still love him? His only hope came in a chance phone call in January last year.
My mom was in the hospital when her cell phone rang, and it was Sean. And I said, "Hey, Sean, it's Dad." And he goes, "Oh, hi, Dad." And I said, "Hey, buddy, I love you." He goes, "I love you, too. I miss you, Sean." And he goes, "I miss you, too." And I hear the voices in the background of where he is. And as soon as they find out it's me, they're going to take it and slam down, which they ended up doing. But I was able to ask him if he remembers things about home. And he said, "A little."
Did you get the sense that his memories are starting to fade?
Oh, yeah. They have to, you know.
How painful was that conversation?
It's bittersweet. It was wonderful to talk to him, and it's very, very, very painful.
A pain so wrenching, David's friends say over 4 years, he lost what had once been a contagious joy for life. He was always the jokester and the prankster. The jokes don't come anymore.
His ability to be happy, it's not the same.
But functioning on subdued autopilot was the only way David could cope. Until August, when everything took a tragic, startling turn. Jaw dropped to the ground and I thought, oh my God, I can't believe it. Bruna was dead. Pregnant by her new Brazilian husband, she'd given birth to a baby girl, only to die from complications 8 hours later. She was 34. My first thought was karma. I'm a firm believer in karma. David's only concern was Sean.
My poor son. He just lost his mom. I need to see him. He needs to see me.
Shaken, David immediately called both his U.S. and Brazilian attorneys.
Both of them said, "It's over. You should be able to go down there and bring him home."
Because you're the only biological parent left?
Yes, who's been fighting for this long.
We're done. We're done. We have to be done because at that point, a fit biological parent always trumps a third party.
I thought, oh my God, David's going to get his son back now.
But when David arrived in Brazil, he was hit with a blizzard of crushing news. Bruna's new husband, the lawyer João Paulo Lindsay Silva, had already been granted temporary custody of Sean, and he'd taken the unusual step of asking the court to remove David's name from Sean's birth certificate.
Apparently they have a Brazilian birth certificate for him with my name on it, and this guy wanted to erase me from any connection with my son and put his own name on it.
What's more, Lindsay Silva was arguing something he calls socio-affective paternity, claiming that since Sean had been living with him in Brazil for almost 4 years, he was now the most qualified person to raise him.
Essentially, they're trying to argue that if you kidnap a child and take him away from his biological parent or parents long enough, that eventually he should stay with his kidnappers because those are the people he knows best and that's where he's most comfortable.
What would his motivation be for doing this?
I have no idea. Maybe he even does have some affection for my son. And I hope he does, but he's my son. This guy's got his own kid. He's got his own baby. He would know what it's like to lose a child. Why is he holding on to mine?
It was a seemingly baffling move that even caught David's attorneys off guard. Was grief over Bruna's sudden death behind it? This man may have made David the bad guy, the villain in the story, because of this astonishingly awful family situation. Whatever the reason, David was livid, and for the first time, he felt compelled to talk publicly about his battle.
How can it be possible a non-blood relative, a non-blood person could take my child?
Michelle Bond, a senior State Department official who deals with international child abduction, was appalled.
This is an abducted child, an American citizen, and I think it's ludicrous for the Brazilian stepfather now to make the case that Sean should not be with his father because he hasn't had a relationship with him.
The battle for Sean was about to get vicious. David was heading back to Brazil. Coming up, will his father finally see his son again? Or is he walking into a trap?
The front desk keeps calling. There's men waiting. They need you to come down here.
Amazing holiday.